your group off the bat?
Well, we saw a huge amount of pressure, but it was downward pressure rather than, as you've mentioned, outward pressure,
Okay.
which then didn't allow her to turn her feet inwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sandra? Yes, good ones.
We noticed that her weight is back because she's looking down. Her head's up, but she's looking down. And she's only brushing out one foot, not the other. So only her left, not her right.
All right, good. Flip that around, you figured it out on the left. Perfect. All right, Patty, what did your group think?
Also that it was just one leg that she was mostly using, and the fronts of the skis looked a little light, so we agreed she wasn't as far.
All right, good. Yeah, what was your group on there?
Those things.
Those things?
Those things. Yeah, not enough ankle.
Not enough ankle, a little bit back,
Yeah.
pushing the left one out.
Yes.
A bit stiff.
Would like me to straight.
All right, cool. Hey, they're all good things. How many answers do you think we got there? Was it about 10, 8 to 10 different things between the groups? From my perspective, I think they were all appropriate things to look at. They were different to that video that you saw before. It wasn't quite the same. So that's where it becomes tricky, doing good teaching. Sure, I know what the good skiing is. I can now look at my client come down the hill and compare those two images together and go, yep, she's only pushing the left ski out, the right ski's not moving, she's a little bit on the heels, looks very rigid and stiff. But now what are you going to work on? Because you just said, 8 to 10 things to yourself. And here's some things that I always do in my teaching that I hope we can do on the front line, which is I try to keep it simple and I try to pick one thing. Even though I might have 8 things in my head that were different to that image, I'm going to go, what's the one thing that I think is going to help her the most? And I'm going to try that first. And that's why I say the next one, what you don't say is just as important as what you do say at this time of your lesson. Because you could say all those 8 things and completely explode that girl's brain and purple powder would come flying out and her wedge stop wouldn't get any better. Even though you're awesome at analysing skiing and you know all of this stuff about skiing, you weren't great at teaching it because you gave too much information. All right, so, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't know a lot, and that's what I want you to take from this clinic. I want you to know a lot so you can say a little on the front line. Yeah? Not the other way around. If I know a little, sometimes I say a lot because I'm fishing for the answer. That's why I always say you've got to holster some things for later. Put some things in the holster and go, nah, I'm not going to say that right now. Because if I get that lady to brush out her right foot now with her left foot, maybe she'll go in a straight line rather than turning to the right. Maybe if she goes in a straight line, her confidence will grow because she's going where she wants. Maybe when her confidence grows, I get a little less stiff. Things will change as you give the feedback, so you have to analyse it again after you give your one thing and then go, now what am I going to do? What do you reckon? Any comments on that so far? Does that make sense?
I might tell her now you know how to turn in one direction, so she knows what she's doing and she can think a little bit about the pressure that way.
Okay, good. Even though the goal was to go straight.
Right, now
way.
she knows, at least she did positive about reinforcement.
So I don't want to leave it vague. I'll show you exactly what I would work on. And that would be brushing both feet out. And I say both feet a little bit wider, so using the right foot as well as the left. Just using the left, as you guys saw, and that's what's making a turn. Rather than going in a straight line, which was our wedge stop, should be in a straight line, right? That's what I would do. That's where the priority comes in. In my eye, I would do that because I think that's the most important. And then I'd go, okay, what do we do next? All right, so that's our introduction to what's going to be many clips now. We're going to move through a bunch of different turns and tasks and do the same sort of process for different skiing. And we can have a chat about it and go from there. So I put this in at the last minute, straight running, because it's another thing that I've seen through the course of this year at Heavenly, watching some teaching out in the DMZ and having our students have some problems with their stance in the straight running. So in a good straight run, this is actually a balancing exercise during a straight run, obviously, the guy going up and down. But like we said before, Sandra and the rest of the team said, it's about developing a good stance while sliding in a straight line. That's what it's about. And enjoying the sliding, right? You want to get the guests hooked on that sliding feeling, hopefully not the fighting for their life feeling in a stop all the time. So, here's a couple of good straight runs. I broke that video down you just watched into just the straight lining part. See if you can see that, the good stance. The good stance we're trying to develop in a straight line. Alright. And then, let's have a look at our guest and the DMZ coming down. Don't worry about the question, the words aren't important. But have a look at the video and compare those two images. Who's seen this person this year? Has anyone had a person like this in their group? I have. I had one today. I'll show you. Here's the good image. So here, this person on the far left of the picture, that's our good stance we're trying to develop, which some of the crew said before, bending a little bit in the ankles, a little bit of bend in the knee, a little bit of bend in the hip. But predominantly we want them balanced in the middle of their foot, in the middle of their ski as they cruise down. So, I'm going to play the video again, have a chat in your group about the difference and how you're going to fix this guy's stance. Have a chat in your tables now and come up with something you want to share.
He's bent too much at the knee, right? And he's bent too much at the hip. And where does that put his weight on his feet? Right? He's not on his toes. Is he in the middle or is he back? Yeah, so again, he's bent too much at the knee, and he's bent too much at the hip. To what? Stand up and then forward. Well, if you lean forward, that just makes his butt stick out, right? So if he leans forward, just a little bit, taller, because see his knees are already touching the front of the body, right? Be taller and relax a little bit.
You guys are so good at this table, you get it within 1 second. It's done.
So he just needs to stand up.
It's going to get harder as we go. All right, we're going to start with our brains trust over here now. So what's the difference between the images there and what are you going to fix? Anyone? Dave?
Overall stance. So working from the ground up, trying to have them flex into their boots, a little more, close those ankles. With that, we have to stand a little taller through their knees and then opening up their hips. So have them taller overall, but closing the ankles more.
Okay. Awesome. Back group. What do we got? Chris?
I was going to say pretty much the same thing. I mean, you can tell that they're using their poles, but instead of the other video where it's, nice push once in a while, it's here it's, like you said, most of your life dragging, trying to keep it balanced. feet a little bit, you stand up, it's gonna alleviate a couple of problems.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said the word alleviate the problems, because the cause might be somewhere else, mightn't it? Wouldn't be the first thing you'd go for is, hey, don't drag those poles. Probably not the first thing you go for. It might be some of those other things you mentioned.
Maybe get the person out of the way too, like about, what, 10 feet into it, there's like another person kind of standing, so I'm sure they're probably a little afraid of maybe running into that person. So making sure that the run's kind of clear.
Let's have a look. Where?
There's nobody.
That's the ski instructor.
Making sure they're looking up.
It's hard to tell through the dark goggles sometimes where they're looking, but it does look a little down, doesn't it? Shane, anything different from your group, Marky Mark?
I think that she needs some more stylish clothes.
More stylish clothes. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a guy to start with. Let's get that right. But he's got jeans on. You're right. Some ski equipment might help. But anything?
Flexing at the ankles, I think.
Okay.
And that she needs to. I also think stand up straighter because she's leaning back, or he or she's leaning back in his boots.
Okay. Good. So yeah, leaning back. So we should be talking about how we're going to stop him leaning back. Flexing the ankles was one.
Standing up a little straighter.
Standing up a
More
little
pressure
straighter.
on the cuffs of the boots.
Similar to what Dave was saying. Rip, yeah.
Move the hips over the boots.
Move the hips over the boots. Sandra, what do you reckon your group?
Just stand up a little more, and they're overflexed at the knee and the hip, so if you stand up a little bit more, lift up your head, balance over those boots, you're going to get the weight from the heel onto the whole of the foot.
Right. Okay, cool.